Convention will kindly come to order.
The Westinghouse Electric Corporation and your Westinghouse dealer present highlights of the 1956 Republican Presidential Convention.
This is Walter Cronkite at the Republican Convention in San Francisco. Governor Arthur B. Langley of Washington is giving the keynote address.
We are here to pledge to the American people 4 more years of honest, efficient administration of our government by the fine men and women who have been called to serve them at Washington. We have come a long way in a short time. There is peace in the land. There is well-being in the homes of America. And there is renewed faith in our time-honored principles of individual freedom and personal responsibility.
Thus, Langley sets the keynote theme of peace and prosperity. Now the convention greets one of the great elder statesmen of the party. Herbert Hoover speaks from the heart of liberty and freedom.
You're here to feed the reviving fires of spiritual fervor, which once stirred Americans to live and to die for human liberty. Americans who knew no private interest, no personal ambition, no popular acclaim, and no advantage of pride or place which overshadows the burning love for the freedom of man.
Thomas Dewey, twice a candidate for the presidency himself, voices the feeling of the delegates about first Eisenhower and then Nixon.
Under the most intense strains, he serves as president of all the people, deeply devoted to their welfare, whoever they are, whatever they do, and wherever they live. We're proud of the record of Richard Nixon as Vice President of the United States.
Harold Stassen had attempted to get the vice presidential nomination for Governor Christian Herter of Massachusetts. But in a dramatic news conference on the day of the nominations, President Eisenhower announced that Stassen had pledged his full support to Nixon, removing the last opposition to a unanimous convention choice, except for one delegate.
Nebraska. Mr. Chairman,
Gentlewoman from Nebraska.
one Nebraska delegate, without concurrence of any of the others, desires to have the floor to make a nomination for vice president.
Could the lady tell us who he desires to nominate?
He's going to nominate Joe Smith.
Joe
Joe Smith.
who? Who is it?
Joe Smith.
Nebraska reserves the right to nominate Joe Smith, whoever he is.
Well, it was a joke. There was no Joe Smith. The convention unanimously renominates Eisenhower and Nixon. Richard Nixon pledges a hard fight.
Mr. Chairman, delegates and alternates to this convention, guests of this convention here in the convention hall and on television and radio, and last but by no means least, Mr. Smith. No man could be more highly honored than to be selected as the running mate of such a great president. I accept this nomination in that spirit. And to the extent that physical limitations of time, space, and stamina permit, I pledge to you today that I shall carry the great message of the magnificent record of this administration to every corner of this land as I work with you for an even greater victory in 1956 than we had in 1952.
And now, President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Today, I want to demonstrate the truth of a single proposition. The Republican Party is the party of the future.
I hold that the Republican Party and platform are right in 1956 because they are most closely in league with the future. And for this reason, the Republican Party and program are and will be decisively approved by the American people in 1956. No one is more aware than I that it is the young who fight the wars. And it is the young who give up years of their lives to military training and service. It is not enough that their elders promise peace in our time. It must be peace in their time, too, and in their children's time. My friends, in firm faith, and in the conviction that the Republican purposes and principles are in league with this kind of future, the nomination that you have tendered me for the presidency of the United States, I now, humbly but confidently, accept.